Hi, my name is Jessica Gigstad, and I literally live in a cornfield in Kansas.
I'm married to the nicest farmer ever, and we love raising our children in rural America. But even though I'm a country girl at heart, I love being fancy. I love finding new recipes. I have a passion for entertaining. But here on the farm, it's most important to nourish my nearest and dearest. Whether it's entertaining al fresco or a cozy night in, I'll find a way to make it simple and scrumptious.
Let's elevate your everyday, yes? Welcome to Highbrow Down Home. Greece holds a special place in my heart. It is the most magical, beautiful place. And when I think of Greece, I think of really fresh, vibrant flavors like sun-dried tomatoes and lemons and mint. And since we're in the dog days of summer right now, I thought the only thing for us to do is to have a party featuring all those flavors from Greece. And so that's what we're gonna do. Jeff and Abby are coming over tonight for a Greek feast, and here's what's on the menu. First on the menu, my lamb kebabs, spicy, smoky, and fresh. Next on the menu, my Mediterranean nachos. All the fun of nachos, but with fresh new flavors. And for dessert, my baklava bites, creamy fried goodness. The star of our Greek feast today is my lamb kebabs. So I'm starting with a pound of ground lamb and a pound of ground beef. And first, I'm just gonna sprinkle over half a cup of breadcrumbs. So this is like making little lamb meatloaves, but we're gonna grill them up and they're gonna be delicious. And then we're going to pour on half a cup of milk. And we'll just let the bread kind of absorb there a little bit. Okay. And then to bind it all together, we're going to need an egg. And next, I'm just going to add in a little bit of feta. And I want to hang on to most of my feta because I'm going to use that in my Mediterranean nachos later. So we don't want to overpower everybody with a ton of feta in everything. And for our seasonings, I just have a mixture of salt, pepper, and a few red pepper flakes for just a little bit of heat. So we're just going to... I'm just going to let the bread absorb into the milk a little bit. And I'm just going to set that aside while I grab some beautiful, fresh, fragrant mint. Oh, it smells so good and so fresh. And I'm going to chop up about 3 tablespoons, 2.5, 3 tablespoons of mint, because mint and lamb just go together. And funny story, I told Scott we were going to have lamb, and I tried them out on him a few days ago, and he actually liked these lamb kebabs. For a man that doesn't like lamb, I thought that was pretty cool. I gave myself a big pat on the back. Okay. And there's 1. That close? Yep. 2. That's about right. There's 3 tablespoons of mint. And then we're gonna add in some nice garlicky bites. So I'm gonna take a garlic clove and just grate that in. Okay. And a big garlic clove will do, or 2 smaller ones. Just sort of depends on how garlicky you want your lamb kebabs. And next you get to do the messy part and go in with your hands, and that's just the best way to make these. We don't want to overmix them because that would make them tough. So it's kind of just, there's no better way to do it than just kind of getting in there with your hands. So, in I go. So I've got my meat mixture all together, and now it's time to start forming our kebabs. So I've been soaking these little kind of flat skewers in some water so they don't catch on fire in the grill. And I'm just gonna grab my meat mixture. It's just this nice soft consistency. And then I'm gonna make them just kind of like little mini meatloaves and try to keep them kind of an even thickness. Okay, and then we'll just stick there's kebab number 1, and I'll just keep working away. You can't have a Greek feast without some tzatziki sauce, so that's what we're going to make to accompany our lamb kebabs. So what that entails is half a cup of sour cream, because this is still a Midwestern party after all, and you can't have a party without mayonnaise or sour cream or something similar. And then half a cup of plain Greek yogurt. And that'll give it just some nice coolness and tang. It's just delicious. And we'll give this a nice little whisk around. Okay. And another element of tzatziki sauce is cucumber. So I'm just gonna take a cucumber and I'm just gonna grate it right in. And that's a lot easier than slicing and dicing. So we're just gonna get some cucumber in there for additional coolness. There we go, that's looking good. Okay. And then for some nice peppery lemony bite, I've got some fresh oregano. And let's see, I'm just gonna take off the leaves first. Pull the leaves right off the stems. Okay, and we'll get this in there. Okay, give that a sprinkle in. Ooh, so pretty. Okay, and a little bit of pepper, and a few dashes of onion salt, and then to brighten it all up, a squeeze of lemon. And I'll just get this into little dishes and we'll have that available to dip our little lamb kebabs in. This is gonna be a perfect Greek feast. All right, so my lamb kebabs are out of the oven and they smell delicious. I can smell that mint and a little bit of spice. All right, so we just need to get these guys plated up. So, you know how I love a good platter, so I've got one ready. And I thought it would be fun if we just included some other Mediterranean elements like some pita bread, some sun-dried tomatoes, and these fun lettuce cups. So if Jeff and Abigail want to eat their lamb in a little lettuce cup, they can do it that way. But first, we're going to take our tzatziki sauce, and I'm just using an ice cream scoop. I love how it scoops in everything so cleanly. Get that on the side there. Beautiful. Okay, and then we'll just lay our luscious lamb kebabs right in here. There we go. And yeah, fun meat on sticks. It's great. I was making these with my kids around the other day and they're like, ooh, cool, can we have one? And suffice it to say, they tried it, but they're not lamb fans. This is an adults party only. There we go. Okay. And we'll just take like a nice little piece of lemon and I'll just hit it with some lemon right at the last minute. All right, and this looks like summertime in Greece to me. Coming up, my Mediterranean nachos. Stay right here. Next on the menu is something really fun and playful. It has all those flavors of Greece, but just kind of in a fun, laid-back way. It's my Mediterranean nachos. So I'm just starting with some loaves of pita bread here, and I'm just gonna cut them up into wedges, just like little pie pieces. I'm getting them kind of small, and then I'm just going to throw these onto a parchment-lined baking sheet. And I'll try and get them in a single layer as much as I can. This should be about right. When they're in a single layer, they bake up really crispy and they really hold up to all the toppings that we're going to put on them. All right, so that looks fantastic. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take some olive oil, that traditional Mediterranean condiment, and some salt, because you can't have chips without lots of good salt. All right, and then I'm just gonna mix these up with my hands and get everything nice and coated. And then I will put these into a 400-degree oven for about 5 minutes, and then I'll flip them and bake them for another 5 minutes. And the next fun element we're gonna pile on our Mediterranean nachos is some roasted chickpeas. And these are so healthy and delicious for you, and I love roasting them because they get nice and crunchy. So we're gonna jazz them up. So I'm gonna take my chickpeas and I'm just going to drain them and get them really rinsed. Okay, that looks good. Okay. And then I'm going to turn this out onto just a paper towel. And we're going to get them nice and dry. Okay. Oops. It's not the smoothest, but well. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, great. And the next I'm going to drizzle this also with some olive oil. About a tablespoon or 2, and some salt. And then I'm going to sprinkle on some marjoram, and it's just kind of like oregano. It tastes really lemony and peppery, and it's really common in Greek and Turkish and Mediterranean cooking. So just get that on there. And we'll bake these for about 25 to 30 minutes until they're fragrant and golden and crunchy. So the next part of Mediterranean nachos is all the fun toppings. So I've got these beautiful fresh tomatoes, and I've just been scooping out the insides. And I'm gonna dice these up and throw them into a bowl. And as you can see, I've already got some beautiful tricolor tomatoes in there, along with some beautiful little purple Kalamata olives, just kind of typical of that Mediterranean region. And I did about half a cup of Kalamata olives, and I'll do about 1.5 cups of tomatoes. And then I have all these beautiful little mini cucumbers, and I just chose these because the skins aren't as bitter, and I can just kind of dice these up, and they're not as watery either, so they don't water the toppings down either. So we'll just get a few of these guys going. I love the combination of textures and flavors. Isn't that why we all love nachos? There's just so much going on, and they're just, every bite is a little bit different, and it's really fun to eat. And I love how it's really fresh and light too. It's just kind of a nice summertime snack. of it, it just looks like confetti or something. It's just really, really beautiful. All right, so the next thing to do is just add in about 4 ounces of feta cheese. I love this cheese so much. And then we'll drizzle it with a few tablespoons of olive oil. And then I'll season it with a little salt, and we want to hold back or just check your seasonings a little bit because the olives are so briny and salty, and so is the feta cheese. So we'll have a light hand with the salt. And I'm just going to check it. An olive and a tomato. I cannot wait to get this on chips and start shoveling this into my mouth. All right, so my chickpeas are out of the oven. They're toasted and getting crispier and crispier as they cool down. And I've got my pita chips all on my plate here. So I'm ready to dish this guy up. So first things first is some hummus. And I just have some roasted red pepper hummus, but you can use whatever kind of hummus you want to. And I'm just gonna do little dollops all over. I don't know if you can compare this to nacho cheese. Is this the cheese element? If there's a Mexican counterpart. And next we're gonna take our salsa, olive, feta, cucumber mixture. And I'm just going to spin that all over. Get in my mouth right now. So good. Okay. I could definitely have gone for a bigger platter, but we're gonna keep going. All right, so next is our chickpeas. And they're just, these yummy little, I don't know what they are. They're delicious though. And we'll just sprinkle those all over the top. All right, and then just to kind of brighten it all up, I'm just gonna take some little fresh sprigs of oregano and just kind of drop those all over. So pretty and so summery. There we go. And if I had room, I'd tuck a whole sprig in, but I have no room left on the platter, so. All right, so here we are. We have loaded Mediterranean nachos, great party food, kind of unexpected, and the perfect treat on a summer night. Up next, my baklava bites. Stay right here. All right, on to dessert. So I'm fixing baklava bites, which are a bit of a cross between baklava and a wonton. So I've got 8 ounces of cream cheese here that is softened. And next I'm going to just take some walnuts and I'm just gonna kind of eyeball them. You can add as many or as little nuts as you want to. You could add any kind of nuts that you want to. Pistachios would be amazing. I'm just gonna get these broken up. Okay, and I'm gonna push those aside for the moment. All right, and I'm going to get some honey. And that's what I'm going to use to sweeten this all up. So I like using a little cookie scoop for honey since it is so sticky and it drips everywhere. I'll do about 2 to start. About 2 tablespoons of honey. There we go. All right, and I'm going to whisk this around. Takes a little bit to break up, but you just have to keep working at it. Okay, so that's broken up. And I'm going to take some of my walnuts and just kind of sprinkle those in. Okay, looking good. Okay, and then next I'm going to take some ground cardamom and just sprinkle that in. And cardamom it's just sort of spicy and a little bit floral, and so I thought that would taste really good in these. It just gives that little something you can't quite put your finger on. And some cinnamon just for some nice warmth. All right, looks delicious. All right, that looks about perfect. I don't want to put too many walnuts in it because I don't want, my wontons are kind of delicate and I don't want them poking through and making holes in the wontons. That would be tragic. Okay. I do want to taste it just to make sure it's okay though. Make sure we don't want to add something. There's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely delicious. It's not too sweet. It's kind of tangy. It's just got that crunch. It's delicious. So to assemble our wontons, I'm gonna take a little bit of cornstarch here, and I'm just gonna add in some water. And this is just I'm just gonna mix it up with my finger, and it's just sort of gonna make a little paste, I guess you could say. It's actually more like glue. So think of this as Elmer's glue for your food. All right, so I'm gonna take my little wonton wrapper here. And I think that's just one, okay. And so I'm just gonna paint around the outside. And I actually learned about this technique from my mom, who learned it from my Aunt Chong, who was from Korea. And anyway, she came over during the Korean War, and she married my Uncle Steve, and she was just the sweetest person ever. And I just remember her teaching my mom about egg rolls and wontons, and it was great. Okay, so, grab 2 spoons. All right, so I'm just gonna grab a little dollop of this mixture, and we don't want too much because we want the wonton to stay closed. Okay, and I'm just gonna put it in a little, kind of like a diamond. Okay, and I'm gonna just fold up the top, fold up like that, and just push out any air. And because an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, I'm gonna ensure that this does not come open. And press this down. And now we have this cute little envelope that's full of cream cheesy goodness. So I'm gonna get these assembled, and then we're gonna fry these guys up. All right, so my little baklava bites are all ready to fry up, so here we go. All right, so my little baklava bites are all done. Are these not just cute little envelopes of deliciousness? Okay, and for a finishing touch, I have some cinnamon, some sugar, and some cardamom here. So I'm just gonna give them a nice little big sprinkle. There we go, gorgeous. Oh yes, all right. And then I'm gonna move these guys onto their serving platter. And I'm gonna serve these up with a little strawberry dipping sauce. And we'll just move them all over here. So much fun. Perfect. I hope Jeff and Abigail are hungry. All right. And then just to garnish, I'm just going to put on some pretty little strawberries here and there. Just kind of tuck them up in the corners. And got some extra mint. Just tuck that in. So it'll look fresh, even though it's really dry. It'll look nice and fresh and appetizing. Okay, and I've got my little strawberry dipping sauce here that I just made with strawberries, lemon juice, and some sugar and some mint. So I'll just pour that in. Oh, how lovely. It's just gonna taste like a summer's day. I'm so excited for Jeff and Abby to get here. It's time to serve this all up. So I've got some lamb kebabs here, and then we have Greek nachos, which are just pita bread just loaded up with, you know, everything like feta and olives, and then I've got some baklava bites over there with some strawberry dipping sauce. So anyway,
delicious.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming. So
Thanks for inviting us.
yeah, anyway, cheers.
Cheers.
It's a rare occasion when I get my husband to, you know, have some wine in the middle of the day. That automatically makes it